What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So if you watched the last video presentation from IGN first for Gotham Knights, I'm sure it caught your ear that the presenter, the journalist, said they spent time at Warner Brothers Montreal for a bit and they got to watch the developers play a ton of the game, but they hadn't necessarily played the game themselves. Now, this concerned a lot of people. I was looking through the comments of that video, and some people were like, uh-oh, what's going on here? Why have they not necessarily allowed for anyone to play it? Now, in my previous video, I said that to me did not necessarily seem like a big deal just yet, because even though that, in a sense, brought the cyber vibes for some people, I didn't think it was already a deal breaker for the entire and the general community. So the reasons that you pretty much will probably think in your head as to why they probably didn't let them play it, will probably be maybe subjective. And then you also have to deal with the fact that the game, in my opinion, I think is still going through optimization. I've always said that. I don't know. I think maybe because people say the game went gold and so it means the game should be, in quote, ready. Yes, the game is ready, but usually after a game goes gold, especially a digital game, they will still continue to work on it and do QA testing and all of the others. So they're probably in a place with the game where they're reaching final phases, and before they get it into the hands of anyone, this is something that they want to make sure they've checked all their boxes off. Not saying the game will be perfect, but at least finish through all the boxes for their optimization, final checks, and so on and so forth. Which brings me to the premise of my video, which is a premise that I continue to resound over and over again, that Gotham Knights will really benefit from a demo. Some of you yesterday, I got to show pretty much why I thought the game and the PlayStation 4 versions, or Xbox One version was probably not going to work. But at the same time, just because they're bringing it to the new consoles should not only be the assurances that people are getting, and they need to take advantage of the fact that people are interested in this game and actually provide some sort of a demo to allow for everyone to be able to get some sort of a feel for the game. Because the final thing that's missing with all the information that we have is just the game feel. Even the presenter at IGN said that, and that's actually a big deal. Now, you could say they probably didn't want the journalists playing the game because, they were not probably going to give the very best representation of the game in terms of maybe their skill level. Because, for you to be able to get a game like this and show the audience, you probably have to master mechanics and so on and so forth. I don't necessarily think the mechanics are that complicated, like say maybe Sifu or some other, third-person action games, but it's probably the image that they wanted to give. But at the end of the day, they're not selling the game to journalists. They're not selling the game to, the press. They're selling the game to the audience. And this is why I continue to, advocate for a demo of some kind. Now, there is some availability of that kind of a, in quote, demo that is built into specific platforms. So let me give you guys a few of these. And I made a video one time talking about this, and I think some people went ahead and interpreted this as me saying people should not buy the game. I don't know, sometimes on the internet, people will come up with some of the strangest things, and it's quite peculiar to see that happen. So one really cool thing is on PlayStation with their new subscription service, they actually have a little, requirement for developers to actually provide a demo for their games. Now, the only challenge to that is the time at which they provide the demo is not necessarily set in stone, or from the last time I actually saw this particular aspect of PlayStation's new service terms, it didn't seem like they were mandating it to happen before the game releases. So they probably have some time to provide a demo of some sort. It's understandable if you're making a big AAA game. I've seen a lot of developers comment and say demos usually take away from development time to finish and polish the game. And I get it, but there is that sense of, you being super confident in your game that you put out a little piece of it for people to say, try out. Let's see what you think about our game. And I'm not saying the developers are not confident of their game. I'm just saying it really does speak a lot more volumes than, say, the ordinary, just buy the game and then see whatever it is that's in the game. And that's not necessarily the strongest marketing point, especially in today's day and age that has been, cybered, because, you guys remember how Cyberpunk pretty much was based on the word of reviewers. Some reviewers were quick to disclaim that them not having a PlayStation version was not a good sign. I remember SkillUp, I remember IGN, ACG, they actually mentioned this in their reviews, and that was something to take note of. But, you know, the hype was so big, nobody wanted to pay attention and to see that that PlayStation version was not up to par. And so this is, in my opinion, where I think we are as a community in looking at something like this. The second functionality, or the second, I would say, provision for some sort of a test, if you wanted to see how the game would flow, is if you're playing on PC. Specifically, if you're playing on Steam and I think the Epic Games Store. These are the two places that the game is available. And these two video game online vendors, digital stores anyways, have a, you know, policy where if you play a video game for any time less than 2 hours, you are, you know, guaranteed a refund for pretty much any reason. I think you just, if you play the game and you've not played up to 2 hours of playtime or more than 2 hours of playtime, they will give you a refund for your money if you go ahead and, you know, do a refund request. So this really does help put to rest a lot of those concerns anyways, for some people, because yes, I'm advocating for a demo, but at the same time, if a demo is going to take away from development time, I do not want to be in a position where they provide a demo and then they don't develop the game. At the same time, I don't want the developers to be in a position where people don't think that their game can be trustworthy because they haven't provided a demo, because there are all kinds of concessions that need to be made. But at the end of the day, they're trying to be the ones that, you know, impress and sell their product. But these provisions are still there for the gaming community to be able to take advantage of. The one challenge, though, and I mentioned this in the video that I made originally talking about this topic, is the Xbox Store and their refund policies, and I'm not necessarily quite aware of how that works. They do say that they are able to refund games for customers who may want a refund, but they haven't necessarily specified exactly what it is. In case of Steam and Epic Games, it's actually well spelled out. And, you know, I'll be hard pressed to think that anybody will be uncomfortable because of those reasons. I think very much so, people are able to kind of get some sort of a taste of the game without even, you know, worrying about the financial commitment. And hopefully they stay along and don't have to do a refund and they continue to play the game. But this is pretty much, you know, what I think will resolve that anxiety for some people. And with IGN and all of these other outlets possibly looking forward to playing this game, we're now in September, so I think we'll probably be getting some previews very soon. Depending on how big Gotham Knights is, they'll probably be sending reviews to, you know, the big review channels and having them kind of see and play the game and, you know, give some feedback before release. So we're 50 something or 50 days specifically actually from the time making this video. So there is a lot of, you know, time frame in terms of how these things are going to roll out. And with these big, you know, publishers and their studios, they usually have these things mapped out on a calendar. So we're looking forward to seeing it, and I'm certain many of you are. But I would also love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I'm sure that that comment from the, you know, from the IGN presenter about not having hands-on the game was possibly something quite interesting. So I would love to hear your reactions on that and your reactions on possibly getting a demo or how you are going to approach, you know, testing out the game and seeing for yourself, especially those of you who say you're not convinced. I think this is a wonderful opportunity for you to be able to use these functionalities in the different stores to get yourself a little bit acquainted with the game and see if it's something that you like without any financial commitment anyways. So talk to me in the comment section, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon. Peace out.